In this video, we'll see how to freeze rows or how to freeze columns in Excel. As you can see, we have a bigger table this time with many information, and what we want to do is to make more readable and easy to cover our display in order to, let's say, find a value or understand the transactions report. As you can see, we have the headline and we have different transactions based on values, date, and other options. First of all, it's important to use, when you have this type of reports, it's important to use the freeze option. That can be very useful to read a table or to show someone any value in a table. So in our table we have the headline, and then we have many rows and many columns. The number of rows and the number of columns overload our display, and we cannot read all the information from the table. That's why we will start by freezing the first row, because it's easy to read when you are on the bottom of the table. For example, when I scroll down, you see that our values are hard to read now, because I don't know 149 of what headline come from. So I want to see exactly the headline in order to read easier. Now I will go to the headline and select all the row. I will go to View tab, and on the Window tab we have this freeze pans. So if I will click freeze pans, on the bottom you have here a sign where we can open the small menu on the drop down. So we have three possibilities: freeze pans, I will come back to this option later; freeze top row, which is our next step; or freeze first column. But the first step is to freeze top row. Now when I will scroll down the table, you see that the headline is there, and now I know that 149 it's part from turnover column. So it's more easy to read the value and understand the headline in our report. Now I will go back to freeze pan, and now as you can see I have unfreeze pans available, because we already have a freeze menu in our table. I will click unfreeze, and now we are back on the initial format, and when we scroll down we lose our headline. And this time I want to freeze the columns in order to make more readable our account. We have product here, and I want to see if the product are in the good account. So for this I will select first column. I will go again to freeze pans, and I will select the third option, freeze first column. Now when I will go in the right, you see that the first column remains on the same location, so doesn't disappear from the display, and we can read the account. We can go back, or we can go back. We can go on the right, or we can go on the left. So it's easy to read now the account associated with our product line. We want to see if food has 771. See? Okay, now I will unfreeze pan, so now we don't have any freeze option. And let me explain the first option from our drop-down menu named Freeze Pans. As Excel explains us, the freeze pans keep rows and columns visible while the rest of the worksheet scrolls based on current selection. With other words, if we want to read the rows and the columns by keeping our first three columns and also all the rows, we can select any cells from our menu to freeze in the same time the rows and the columns. For example, if I will select this cell B3, means that we will freeze all this information from the left side. Let me show you. Freeze pans. So now when I scroll down, you see that I have also the headline, but also the first transaction freezed on our table. And also, if I will go on the right, I have also the first row, but also all the other rows. So when I select unfreeze, we'll go back to our table. Now, if I want to freeze a bigger part of our file, I will select, let's say, customer 6, meaning I want to freeze all of these and also all of this. So freeze pans. Now you can see that we freeze all the 4 rows, and also we freeze all the columns from the left cell that we select. So now it's more easy to read bigger tables. Select unfreeze, and that's all. Now we don't have any freeze option, but we can play with any other option of freeze. The most common freeze menu is by freezing the first row when you scroll down and read bigger reports, and in some cases we also freeze first or second column. So freeze again, top row, and easy to read.